Are you still doing performance appraisals? Today you will learn why Dr. Edwards Deming didn't endorse them. And after 12 years as a Fortune 500 Vice President, neither did I. If you're not familiar with Dr. Deming, he was perhaps the greatest business consultant in history. By following his teachings, I produced an ROI that was over 100% higher than my industry's average. If you are a leader or want to be one, you need to understand his Red Bead Experiment. If you haven't seen the experiment yet, stop this video, click the link in the comments, and watch it first. You need to see the willing workers in action to understand the lessons I'm about to share. By the way, Deming was the man who turned the industrial complex of Japan after the Second World War into the quality juggernaut that it is today. Today we are going to review the lessons taught by Dr. Deming's Red Bead Experiment. The experiment teaches a number of critical lessons that are unfortunately rarely taught in American colleges and universities, but are absolutely crucial for understanding how to be a better leader. One of the most important lessons is that management must understand that all processes have inherent variation built in, and no amount of bonus promises or threats of punishment or incentives promised will result in improvement. The experiment showed that a willing worker was not able to control the number of red beads they produced from one day to the next. The process produced the variation, not the worker. We saw the winner of day one become the loser of day two. When you reward the best worker in a stable system, you are literally giving a bonus for someone who happened to be in the right place at the right time. It is management by lottery. Dr. Deming shared a letter he had received from a willing worker in one of his seminars, and I'd like to share that with you. Excuse me. The letter begins, "When I was a willing worker on the red beads, I learned more than statistical theory. I knew that the system would not allow me to reach the goal, but I still felt I could. I wished to. I tried so hard. I felt responsible. Others were dependent on me. My logic and emotions conflicted, and I was frustrated. Logic said that there was no way to succeed. Emotion said that I could by trying. After it was over, I thought about my own work situation and how often people are in a situation that they cannot govern, but they wish to do their best, and they try to do their best. But after a while, what happens to their drive, their care, their desire? For some, they become turned off and tune out." The end of the letter. In the experiment, the manager uses threats to encourage the workers to do better. But as Deming taught, fear only ensures that people will hide the beads, not eliminate the fear. Fear kills the very data management needed to fix the system. Leaders must know if a process is statistically stable, that the results are predictable. And they must realize that all stable processes have variation, which will produce varied results. And they must also realize that sometimes a special cause will produce a result that is outside of the control limits and should be addressed immediately. For example, I managed a large distribution center, and a flat tire on a delivery truck would have been something we would consider a special cause. It doesn't happen very often, and management doesn't need to fix that, the employees can. A common cause in the process is something that only management can fix. If a system or process is stable, it must be changed if it's going to be improved, and it can only be done by the management. The system the workers used to produce the red beads was stable. It was predictable, but it had built-in variation. that cause the results of the willing workers to fluctuate from day to day, even though they perform the same way every day. Therefore, there was no evidence to prove that one worker was better than another worker. Therefore, the results screamed for companies to eliminate performance appraisals and work slogans. Deming introduced this concept in 1950, and yet I'm willing today to bet that the majority of companies, large and small, still conduct performance appraisals because they think it is a method to make their company or organization better. It is not. If you get nothing else out of this video, remember, variation exists in every process and system, and it is a reason why the willing workers produce different scores. They were powerless to change the system. Stop conducting performance appraisals. You are only hurting your company. If management wanted to change the results of the willing workers, they should have worked with the supplier of the beads to reduce or eliminate the red beads that were included with the white beads that were being ordered. All of the willing worker scores were within the upper and lower control limits. It was a stable system. And a stable system is one that has capability. It tells you exactly what your process is capable of delivering. If you don't like the results, don't blame the worker. Redesign the system. However, if one willing worker has been outside of those limits, either up or down, it is still up to management to identify that person, to explore what methods can be used to help that person perform their job within the control limits. Deming often emphasized that if someone is outside the limits, they might need to be given a different type of training or different types of tools, or perhaps move to a different job where they can perform within the control limits. Remember this. Stop conducting performance appraisals. In my next video, I'll show you exactly what to do instead of using performance appraisals to actually reach industry-leading ROI results. And remember, if you like this, click on the button below, as it will help me to continue making more leadership videos. Thank you. Have a good week.